What's up? Um, I want to talk about injustice against my people of color. Um, y'all know about I don't know. I haven't really read too much about the constitutional rights. I googled it up and I was reading some stuff, but I want to make sure when I do read some stuff like that, I want to make sure that I'm pronouncing every word correctly. You know what I mean? Because I don't want people to. So what I'm gonna have to do is just take time and just go over the words, or go over some of the ones that I feel like that 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 I'm gonna be having problems with or whatever. But what I want to do, yeah, there's some things okay, injustice. Okay, I want to talk about this here, and I don't know where to start at, but I want to start from somewhere. Y'all know that a lot of our people of color is getting gunned down in the streets, right? All these things was prophesied in the Bible. Now we lost our heritage through because we broke God's commandments, and that's the whole reason why. And He put us in these conditions to chastise us. Let me show you an example of that. And in Hebrews, I'm gonna show you an example of that. How we was put in these conditions, and there's a certain rate. I mean, there's a certain nation of people, which is we know the nation of people that He chosen is the elect, which we call the Hebrew Israelites, which is in the Bible. You know, so let's look at it. Okay, let's start right here. Hebrews 12 and 5. I'm gonna read a couple of verses all the way through 11. And ye have forgotten the exhortation which speaketh unto you as unto children. My son, despise not thou the chastening of the Lord. I hope I didn't pronounce the other word wrong. Nor faint, nor faint when thou art rebuked of him. Rebuke means is to correct. For whom the Lord loveth, he chasten and scourges and scourge every son whom he receiveth. If ye endure chastening, God dealeth with you as with sons. But what son is he whom the Father chasteneth not? Chastens, that means chastise you or correct you. That's another word for chastising you, correcting you when you're wrong. But if ye be without chastening, chastisement, but if ye be without chastisement, whereof all are partakers, then are ye bastards and not sons. Furthermore, we have had fathers of our flesh, which correct us, and we gave them reverence. Shall we not much rather be in subjection unto the Father of spirits and live? For they verily for a few days chasten chasten us after their own pleasure, but but for our he for our profit, that we might be partakers of his holiness. Verse 11. Note No chastening for the pleasant, for the present seems to be joyous. Let me read that again. Now, no chastening for the present seems to be joyous. That means it don't feel good to be corrected when you're wrong. But grievous, that means just a lot of people don't want to be corrected when they're wrong. But grievous, nevertheless, afterward it yieldeth the peaceable fruit of righteousness unto them which are exercised thereby. It's like a lot of people go behind other people's back and talk about people, right? When you talking about someone else and that person don't is not aware of what's going on, they can't hear, they can't defend themselves. And notice it says, no chastening for the present seems to be joyous, but grievous. That means it'll make you angry sometimes. Like, man, it be hitting straight home too. But you have a lot of people who are not willing to do that. It's like if especially if that person is not used to it. I'm not trying to throw myself way up here like I'm better than everybody else because I still I still do I still have to be corrected in a lot of other things too as well. I'm not gonna sit up here and say I'm right about everything. And if you care about me as my brother, Hebrew brother, you're gonna pull my coattail and you're gonna say, hey, what you just did, it was incorrect. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it's all about, correcting people. So that's what the Most High had to do to us when we broke His commandments. And this is the reason why we're over here. And this is the reason why we don't know who we are as a people, because we lost our inheritance. You see what I'm saying? When we was handed over to the other nations and we were sold to the so-called white man, which is our enemy, which I'm gonna read in a couple of seconds. In Deuteronomy 28 and verse 68. You know what I'm saying? So it says, no chastening, verse 11 of Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 11. It says, no chastening for the presence seems to be joyous, but grievous. Nevertheless, afterward it yieldeth the peaceable fruit of righteousness unto them which are exercised thereby. That means it's hard. You know what I mean? It hurts a lot of time, but at the end, it gives you peace. It gives you a peaceable fruit of righteousness, like it says. You know, it does. So we lost our inheritance and God put our enemies over us because we didn't listen to Him, during the time. And that's how we got ourselves in these conditions, being our people being shot down in the streets, and we got our oppressors ruling over us, is because we did not listen to God. So therefore, what He did, according to Deuteronomy, which I'm gonna read in a second, um, we had to serve our enemies for want of food, water, clothing, all that stuff. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go to Jeremiah right now, and I'm gonna show you how we lost our real inheritance, how we lost it, what happened. So I'm on my way to Jeremiah now. Jeremiah 17 and 4. Jeremiah 17:4. Let's look at it. And thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from thy inheritance that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thy enemies in the land, which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in my anger, which shall burn forever. Let's go to Deuteronomy. We didn't listen to God. And so, because we didn't listen to him, let's read Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 1. Now, this is God is only speaking to Israel. Now, therefore, hearken, O Israel, unto the statutes and unto the judgments which I teach you, for to do them. Doing, the word do means an action word, that ye may live and go in, that ye may live and go in and possess the land which the Lord God of your fathers given you. Ye shall not add unto the word which I command you, neither shall ye dismay aught from it, that ye may keep the commandments, that ye may keep the commandments of the Lord your God, which I commanded you, which I commanded you. And because we didn't do that, verses Deuteronomy 4 and 25. When thou shalt begot children and children's children, and ye shall have remained long in the land, and shall corrupt yourselves, and make a graven image, or the likeness of anything, and shall do evil in the sight of the Lord thy God to provoke him to anger. That means he got mad. Let's jump down to verses 27. And the Lord, because we didn't want to listen to him, let's just read verse 26. Deuteronomy 4 and 26. And I call heaven and earth to witness against you this day, that ye shall soon utterly perish from off the land, whereunto ye go over Jordan to possess it. That means possess it means own it. And ye shall not prolong your days upon it, but shall utterly be destroyed. And the Lord shall scatter you amongst the nations, and ye shall be left few in number amongst the heathen, whether the Lord shall lead you, because we didn't want to keep his commandments and we didn't want to do what he said. He said that not only will he lead us into strange places, we scatter. And that's like what it said, and the Lord shall scatter you amongst the nations, and ye shall be left few in number amongst the heathen, whether the Lord shall lead you. That's right, you'll be left few in number. Let's go to Deuteronomy. See, let's go ahead on to Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy is 28 and verses 48. Therefore shall thou serve thy enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee. When he scattered us in all the other parts of the land, remember what I read in Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verses 26. And Deuteronomy 4 and verse 27. Yeah, Deuteronomy 4, 26 and verse 27 says, and the Lord shall scatter you amongst the nations. And that's what happened. And after he scattered us amongst the nations, and let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 1 and verse 1. Now, who was God talking to? All he said, follow his commandments. We know. These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel. All Israel. Now look, listen right here. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thy enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. That means we are mentally today, we are mentally destroyed. We defending the white man. We love the very people who is always oppressing us. And we are in these conditions because we did not listen to God's commandments. We didn't follow and do what he said. So therefore, he said, because we didn't want to follow his commandments, which what we just read in Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 1, where he says, hearken to the statutes and the commandments of God. And because Israel, the Hebrew Israelites, didn't want to do that, the Most High said we had to serve our enemies in one of all things. That's the reason why we are the only nation of people, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American people are at the bottom right now. It's because we didn't listen to God. So he got fed up with us and he sent our enemies against us. Now let's read verse 58. Deuteronomy 28 and 58. If thou would not observe to do all the words of this law, the law that are written in this book, the Bible, if we don't observe to do, take heed to these laws that is written in this Bible, in this book, he said, if thou wilt not observe to do all the words of this law that are written in this book, that means the book means the Bible, that thou mayest fear this glorious and fearful name, the Lord thy God. Then the Lord will make thy plagues wonderful, and the plagues of thy seed, and even great plagues, and of long countenance, and of sore sickness, and of long countenance. Moreover, he will bring upon thee all the diseases of Egypt, which thou was afraid of, and they shall cleave unto thee. Now, when he said he will bring all, now you know what this means? That means that some of our people are suffering from gout, another disease, sickle cell, uh, what else? Any kind of sickness, the AIDS virus, all that kind of stuff. He said all these curses hit us because we did not listen to the Most High God. And so this is the reason why we're in these conditions now. Also, every sickness, excuse me, and also every sickness and every plague which is not written in the book of this law. That means in the Bible, in the laws that's written in the Bible, them will the Lord bring upon thee until thou be destroyed, and ye shall be left few in number. See that? It says ye shall be left few in number. That means that 2/3 of our people is not going to make it. It's only 1/3 of Israel that's going to make it, because a lot of us is so damaged by slavery. See, back in slavery days, that when the slaves when they stacked each one of us up, no, excuse me, they stacked our ancestors up on sardines, stacked us up on top of one another, and shipped us off for months. And our ancestors was pooping all on each other, and it was just like it was like days. Can you imagine just being in all kinds of stuff like that? Bowel and just they had to use the bathroom on top of one another and all that kind of stuff. Stack us up like our people up like animals, dogs, or whatever you want to call it, and shipped us off. And we came over here, and this is how a lot of our ancestors got to America. You see what I'm saying? Being shipped over. and scattered out. This is how we got scattered. You see what I'm saying? And throughout every parts of the world. And then they stripped us of our real names. They stripped us of our nationality, our name, our heritage. Our heritage means of who we are. You see what I'm saying? This is the reason why we don't know who we are. And then they turn around and gave us their customs, and they took our customs, they took our real identity and made our identity for themselves and stripped us and named us after their names. That's what they did. They named us. They named us after their names. Hold on a minute. Yeah, that's what they did. They had fake names and they gave us fake and named us Jewish and they named themselves the real Jews. This is what had happened. Now let's read Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 37. So you'll understand where I think it's, and thou shalt become, Deuteronomy 28 37, and thou shalt become astonishment. That means that when we look around, we we get like our people getting shot down in the streets and all that kind of stuff. That means that's astonishment. You see what I'm saying? We are looking dismayed. We're so astonished at what's going on. And thou shalt become an astonishment in a proverb. A proverb means if you want to hide something from a man, a black person, what do they say? Put it in a book. You see what I'm saying? And a byword. A byword is nigger, coon, all of that. Amongst all nations, whether the Lord shall lead thee. Does that sound like something that I read in Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 27, where it says the Lord shall scatter us amongst all nations? The reason why he says scatter us amongst all nations, it goes back to my original point. It's because God told Israel in Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 1, he said, keep the laws of God, the statutes and the commandments of God. All these curses. Now let's go back and let's look at Deuteronomy. And I think I've repeated it before. Let's look at Deuteronomy chapter 28. Deuteronomy 28 and 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I commanded thee this day, that all these curses should come upon thee and overtake thee. And then it goes on in verse 16, curses should thou be in the city. That means every city we go in, we curse. The first hired, no, excuse me, the last fired, no, the last hired and the first fired, the last hired and the first fired. That's what it means. Cursed shall thou be in the city, and cursed shall thou be in thy field. That means we cursed in the field. Was our ancestors cursed in the field? Where they had to wear them yokes upon their neck and all that? Yeah. Verse 17, curses shall be thy basket in thy store. You know how we go to the store, stuff is so high, we buy a few items, we bring it home, and before you know it, we don't prosper even in the grocery store. We go and we buy food and we get very little for our money, right? Don't we go into the store? If you feel like don't you feel like you fit those curses? If you fit these curses, and if you can relate to what I'm saying, the only way you know that you are a real child of God and you fit these curses, come with me to Romans chapter 8 and 16. Romans 8 and 16. And if you know what I mean, I'm pretty sure that the most so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American man can relate to this here. Romans 8 and 16. The Spirit itself bears witness with our spirit that we are the children of God. The Spirit itself bears witness with our spirit that we are the children of God. So, so it is the Spirit that bear witness. So when you find people that, like, we know that the wicked, and we know who the wicked are. When you trying to talk to the other nations, any nation outside of the nation of Israel, all the nations that are outside of the nation of Israel, they cannot relate to this here. Why? Because their spirit, their ancestors didn't go through these atrocities like the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American people over here. Because our people is scattered. Don't get me wrong. Our people is scattered in every parts of the world, all over in every different parts of the world. Germany and Irish, British, Europe, over in Europe, South Africa, North, East, West, because see, they came and they got the people from West Africa. Yeah, I think I said it right. They came and got our people from the west coast of Africa. That's what they did. What I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to get me some signs and I'm gonna have to show you. I'm gonna have to find them. So I don't know where can I get them at, but I'm gonna get me some post signs and I'm gonna show y'all real clearly as I'm teaching myself. But anyway, if your spirit, like if you find people, if you sitting up defending for the so-called white man, that means you're just blind. But if you be like when I first heard this message, my spirit bear witness with it because I can relate to this here because I know that I can relate to our people being harassed on the streets. For one while, I was harassed on the streets. Whether you doing something or not, even if you doing something as a black person, let's just say you did it, they're gonna be harder on you because of your. They look at you as a so-called black man or a man of color. You gonna be they gonna be a little harder on you, even if you did do it. But a so-called white man, they not gonna be as hard on that so-called white man as they would on that so-called black man. They not. They're gonna be harder on the man of color, right? Because in their eyes, oh, this is he black, which your so-called black man of color, of course they gonna mess with you. Then on the other hand, you cannot be doing nothing. And guess what the so-called white man gonna do? He's still gonna harass you. I had this happen to me when I was like in my 20s. A so-called white man, white folks pulling me over, mistaking me for the wrong person's identity. Yeah, of course. Why? Because you're a man of color. I am a man of color. You see what I'm saying? So everywhere we go, let's look down here and let's see if we can get some more curses. Excuse me. Curses Cursed shall be the fruit of thy body, the fruit of your body. That means, like when you have children, your children will go into captivity, into jail, and the fruit of thy land and the increase of thy kind, and the flock of thy sheep. That means the animals. Cursed shall thou be when thou comest in, and cursed shall thou be when thou goest out. And the Lord shall send upon thee curses and vexation, and rebuke, and in all that thou seest, settest thy hand unto, for to do. It said the Lord will do it. Everything that you set your hand to, we will not prosper. That's why we're not prosperous. Now we are better than anybody on the earth. We are above all people, but because we disobeyed God, He brought us down and put us in a lower state. And He put us in these conditions is because we did not listen to His commandments. And the Lord shall send upon thee curses and vexation and rebuke in all that thou settest thy hand unto, for to do, until thou be destroyed, and unto thou perish quickly because of the wickedness of thy doings. There, thereby thou hast forsaken me. The Lord shall make the pestilence cleave unto thee, until he have consumed thee from off the land, whether thou goest to possess it. That means you won't make it to the promised land because we choose not to serve him. And you look, it just goes on, and it's talking about all the curses that we are upon, that is upon us. And then it also talks about how, and see, this is what people don't understand. This is a prophecy. See, I hear people on YouTube always talking about what black women kill their kids too and all of that. That is a curse from the Most High God. All those things is a result and a curse. Let's read some more of these curses. Let's look at verse 30. Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. That means your wife will cheat on you. All these things are curses that so-called blacks, Hispanic, and Native American man is going through, and the woman too. That means your husband gonna sleep with another woman. That's a curse. All those things is a curse that come from the Most High God. Your children, our children being on drugs and alcohol and all that kind of stuff. Our children talking about hurting us and harming us. That's a curse from the Most High God. Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. Thou shalt build an house, and thou shalt not dwell therein. Thou shalt plant a vineyard, and shall not gather the grapes thereof. That means the locusts gonna come and consume everything in there. Somebody may even come steal the crops out of our garden. Let's keep reading. Thy ox shall be slain before thy eyes. That means killed. Somebody may come and throw some poison over the fence and kill your ox. All those things is a curse. And thou shall, excuse me, and thou shalt not eat thereof. Thy ass shall be voluntarily taken away from before thy face. All that kind of stuff. Anything can happen. They can come and just take it in front of your face. and shall not be restored to thee. Thy sheep shall be given unto thy enemies. That means your enemies will come and take your house and say you ain't paid. It's going into foreclosure. We got to sell this land. We got to take your house, all kind of stuff. And thou shalt have none to rescue them. Here's another curse that is upon thy people. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people. See that? And thy eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long. I mean, that's talking about how if women don't get abortion, they go and they give their kids up for adoption, all that kind of stuff, given to another people. And shall be no might, and there shall be no might in thy hand. We don't have no might in our hand. We don't. You notice that white folks how they have their SWAT team and all that. The black man had and the black so-called black woman do not have no protection. We don't even have protection. We don't even protect each other. None of that. We going and jumping on the enemy side. That's why you see a lot of our people going being black police officers and all that kind of stuff. We have no business being in the midst of Babylon. That's Babylon. But we still do it anyway because we compromise. Well, you got to do what you got to do to take care of your family. Really? Be to work for your enemy. Be a slave for your enemy. The fruit of thy land and of all thy labors shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up, and thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed always. I mean, we will always be. That's part of serving your enemy. When you're being a butthole for the so-called white man, that's part of the curse. That's part of serving your enemy. Because remember what I read in Deuteronomy 28 and 48. Because we didn't want to keep his commandments, according to Deuteronomy chapter 4 and 1, keep the laws and statutes and the judgments of the Most High God. He said, "Thou therefore shalt thou serve thy enemy," according to Deuteronomy 28 and verse 48. He said we had to serve our enemies, so that thou shalt be mad for the sight of thy eyes, which thou shalt see. That means we're angry at what we see. We angry at all of these, how we being oppressed. That's what this is. Let me go on, verse 35. And the Lord shall smite thee in the knees and in the legs with sore bunch that cannot be healed. That means we're suffering from gout. That's a disease, right? Gout, sickle cell, all these things. All these things is a curse that thou cannot be healed from the sole of thy foot unto the top of thy head. All kind of diseases, high blood pressure, all kind. Not only that, it's brain disease, all these things, cancer, all these things is a curse. The Lord shall bring thee and thy king, which thou shall set over thee, which thou shalt set over thee, unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have not known. That means we will be serving. Ain't our people over in China over there worshiping and bowing and worshiping the Chinese man? They serving the enemy. The Chinese man is their enemy. And there shalt thou serve other gods, wood and stone. He said we will have to serve other gods, wood and stone. And thou shalt become an astonishment. That means all these things that we do, like the curses and stuff. Killing our bet. These curses is falling upon us. The so-called white man is oppressing us. All these things come from slavery. Now let me read that again. And thou shalt become an astonishment. Astonishment means like people gonna look at us and they see that we're astonishing because we are the only ones who are being oppressed. The so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. people. They're gonna look at us. We on drugs. People gonna look at us and they're gonna be afraid of us. They're gonna look and they just gonna be astonished and dismayed how they gonna be looking at us and seeing the condition that we in. Astonishment means they looking at us and like, whoa, those people, look at the condition that those people are in. And thou shalt become an astonishment and a proverb. That means our people getting shot down in the streets, all that kind of stuff. Our people killing each other, stuff like that. That's a curse from the Most High God. And thou shalt become an astonishment and a proverb. A proverb means we're gonna be named, like I said earlier, niggers and coons and all that kind of stuff. These are the things that we are. And a byword. Byword. They gave us fake name. They stripped us of our real Hebrew Israelite name and gave us nigger and coon amongst all nations. Whether the Lord shall lead thee, and thou shalt carry much seed in the field, and shall gather but little, and gather but little in it. For the locust shall consume it. The locust gonna come and consume it, eat up all your crops and stuff. Thou shalt plant a vineyard and dress them, but shall neither drink of the wine nor gather the grapes, for the worms shall eat them up. That means that when you plant a garden, because of the curse, that's why I said, "Cursed shall be the land, cursed shall be the fruit of the woman's womb, and cursed shall be the fruit of the ground." All that. There's a lot of curses in here. Okay, let's look at let's look at let's look at Deuteronomy 28 and 46. And they shall be upon thee for a sign. All these curses will be upon us for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. That means these curses will follow our seed, our children, our blood, our children's children. Because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness and with gladness of heart, for the abundance of all things. Therefore should thou serve thy enemies. See, because we didn't want to keep his commandments, we're gonna have to serve our enemies now, which the Lord shall send against thee. God sent our enemies against us, and in hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things. Didn't I just say that? And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. We are destroyed as a nation of people. We sit up here and we try to love the white man, love the other nations who don't give a poot about us, a hula, or whatever you want to call it. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from afar, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flies. Didn't that eagle land in North America? When they came over to, I think it was West Africa, and brought us to the East Coast of the West Coast of Africa, something like that. This is what this is referring to. Correct me if I got it. Which one is it? Because I know I said it right though. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from afar, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flies, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of old, nor show favor to the young. I mean, they're not gonna show you favor. They're not your enemy is not gonna do none of that. And he shall eat, and he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle and the fruit of thy land until thou be destroyed. That means they're gonna be eating up off of us. Everything that they took from us, they're gonna profit off of our wealth that we had because we obeyed him. And God allowed these other nations is to come and strip us of our name, nationality, and culture. And this is how we got in these conditions over here in America. And he shall eat of the fruit of thy cattle and of thy fruit of thy land until thou be destroyed, which also shall not leave thee, neither corn nor corn, wine, or oil, or of the increase of thy kind, of thy kite, and or flocks of thy sheep, until he have destroyed thee. And he shall besiege thee in all thy gates, until thy high and fence walls come down, wherein thou trustest throughout all thy land, and he shall besiege thee in all thy gates throughout all thy land, which the Lord thy God has given thee. Now let's read verse 53. And thou shalt eat the fruit, and thou shalt eat the fruit of thy own body. Okay. And the flesh of thy sons and of thy daughters, which the Lord thy God has given thee, and in the siege and in the straitness, wherein thy enemies shall distress thee. He gonna oppress us. So that the man that is tender amongst you, very delicate. See, one time the man was very delicate. What that really means is that he was very kind, humble. You used to walk. I heard one Hebrew Israelite broke it down like this here, and I like how he broke it down. You used to could walk up to a man, put your hand on his shoulder, and say, "How you doing, brother?" Now, if you try that, some brothers in the society will actually be ready to fight you, or kill you, or pull out a gun and hurt you. That's what it means. It says, so that the man that is tender amongst you and very delicate, he was delicate. He was very kind. He was very genuine toward his own people. But now he's killing his own people, stuff like that. All these are curses. And his eye shall be evil toward his brother. Yeah. Nowadays, yeah, his eye is evil toward his brother. They'll kill you. And toward the wife of his bosom, not only toward his brother, but toward his wife too, and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall leave, so that he will not give to any of them of the flesh of his children, whom he shall eat, because he had nothing left in him, and the siege and in the straitness wherein thy enemies shall distress thee in all thy gates. Now here's it's talking about the woman, the tender and delicate woman amongst you. That means the woman was very tender. She was very sweet. She was at home, keepers at home, raising her children, doing all that good stuff, nurturing. She was very nurturing woman, nurturous woman. But now you got the woman hating a black man, just like you got the black man hating a black woman. All these are curses and the results of the curses because we did not follow his commandments. The tender and delicate woman amongst you, which shall not avenge to set the sole of her foot upon the ground, for delicateness and tenderness. Her eye shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom. Have you ever heard people be talking about the black woman is evil and the black woman hate the black man? All these things is a curse from the Most High God. You used to could go out there and you used to could approach a woman and say, "Hey, excuse me, how you doing? I'd like to talk to you," or whatever you was trying to do, or whatever we be trying to do. You can't do that now. Most of them will keep walking or cuss you out. Our brothers is in that kind of shape too. Let me read this again. The tender and delicate woman amongst you. The woman used to be tender. She wore a dress down to her foot. Like Deuteronomy 5 and 22 said, a woman should not wear that which is pertaining unto a man, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment. For all that do so are an abomination unto God. Okay. It said, the tender and delicate woman amongst you, which shall not, that means she wasn't no woman that she wasn't a worldly woman. She wasn't cussing and drinking and all that kind of stuff. Just like the man, he wasn't cussing and talking about stabbing somebody else. All these things came from the condition of the so-called white man. And God put these curses on us and sent the so-called white man, our enemies, against us because we didn't do what he said do. The tender and delicate woman amongst you, which shall not avenge to set the sole of her foot upon the ground, for delicateness and tenderness. Her eye shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom, and toward her son, and toward her daughter, and toward her young one that cometh out from between her feet. That means when she bearing giving childbirth, from between her leg, child coming out of her, and toward her children, which she shall bear, for she shall eat them for want of all things. That means eat them. That's another words for like she shall eat them for want of all things. Okay, let's read that again. For she shall eat them for want of all things. That means she will take and she will just want to have kids just so she can have WIC benefits. She looking at she can get money off those kids or whatever, stuff like that. And she shall eat them of one of all things secretly, and in the siege and in straitness, wherein thy enemies shall distress thee in thy gates. So um, let's skip to verses 68, verse 68. Deuteronomy 28 and 68. It says, and the Lord shall bring thee unto Egypt again with ships. Egypt is an anonymous word for the word slavery. And the Lord shall bring thee unto slavery again with ship. See, the first time we went into Egypt, we walked in. The second time we walked into Egypt, we came over here on carnal slave ships. And the Lord shall bring thee unto Egypt again with ships. That's Deuteronomy 28 and verse 68. By the way whereof I have spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. That means we will never see our homeland again. And there ye shall be sold. See that? Sold unto your enemies. It didn't say you will be sold to your friends, nor sold to your relatives, or sold to your loved one. It says you will be sold unto your enemies. For bondmen, that means slave man, and bondwoman, that means slave woman, and no man shall buy you. Meaning that Malcolm X tried to redeem us, Martin Luther King tried, and Marcus Garvey tried. All these people tried to redeem us out of these conditions. No one will be able to do that but the Black Messiah. So I skipped over a little bit of it. Make sure y'all go back and y'all read Deuteronomy 28. So we over here in so-called America means the land of confusion. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna stop this here right now, and I'm gonna see y'all later.